Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and if you haven't watched a video of mine in a little while, you'll see that I kind of got a different setup going on. I built these shelves over the past week or so, and I've been trying out some different angles to see kind of which one I like better. So I guess as we do some videos over the next week or two, I'm just gonna move over a couple feet each time, just to see which one I guess looks the best and whatnot. This one I think is gonna be kind of weird because I'm in the corner, but let's just go ahead and get started. Today's video is gonna be all about my December book haul, which is actually pretty much just the books. Well, actually, I only received three books for Christmas, and I think I bought myself a couple of used books as well, earlier in the month of December. But yeah, we gotta get going on this one that way. I can do the January one, but before it ends up being March and start falling way behind already on 2022 on all those kind of staple videos. But let's just go ahead and get started. And like I said, let me know if you like kind of this angle. You can kind of compare it to my last video where I was kind of over here or whatever. But let's just go ahead and get started. And what's cool about this one, I got 2 autograph books. Definitely kind of I don't have very many. I think I only got 6 or 7 autograph books, so adding 2 to the collection, adds quite a bit to that collection. But anyways, let's go ahead and start. First one here is Birds by the Shore by Jennifer Ackerman, author of The Genius of Birds, and that's exactly why I picked this one up. I read The Genius of Birds, I think, in the first year I did book 2, 2018. Really enjoyed it. Just a really in-depth kind of scientific approach of different avian intelligences, different ways birds are intelligent and stuff, different thinking patterns, things like that. Really enjoyed it. And I saw this one, Birds by the Shore, which is all about kind of Atlantic seabirds and things. I think kind of her little vignettes on that, which me living in Maine, even though I live in the middle of the woods inland, not by the beach or on a lighthouse or anything, which would be pretty dope. I do go down east quite often, so I got a soft spot obviously for the Atlantic coast and whatnot. She also has another one, I think The Birdway, which I think is her newest book. And I think I have that one on an audiobook from when it was on an audiobook sale or something. I haven't listened to that one yet, but she's definitely an author that I want to read pretty much her entire bibliography and backlist and everything. So, picked up Birds by the Shore when I saw on a really good deal. All right, next up is one that I did get as a gift because they were yeah, and we see you taking pictures of bugs all the time, in the summertime, spring, and whatever. I do try to identify bugs and whatnot. They're we saw this cover and we just thought you'd really like it. And it's Extraordinary Insects, the Fabulous Indispensable Creatures Who Run Our World by Anne Sverdrup Thygesen. And she is I believe it's a Norwegian author, and it's translated into English. And obviously this is going to be all about entomology, just all about bugs, things like that. I don't know too much about it per se, but it looks really cool. You can't really have too many bug books, I don't think. I got a whole maybe not a whole reference library, but trying to build a reference library and stuff. But I don't have a whole lot of, actually I think I only got about 3 or 4 books particularly on insects in general. Though I've read a couple more on specific insects like butterflies and stuff, and I got one on ants that I plan on reading pretty soon. Next up is one that I picked up by Matthew Rickard, and it's A Plea for the Animals, the moral, philosophical, and evolutionary imperative to treat all beings with compassion, which is just a really good mindset I think people need to have and stuff. I kind of picked it up because I thought I'm hoping it's a really good blend of kind of environmental nature writing with kind of the hopefully philosophy and stuff as kind of a hard-hitting part of the book. Just because I'm trying to read more philosophy again. I totally just tapered off that over the past several years, so I thought maybe this will kind of get that kind of jump started going again. And then on the back, the little blurbs who they got. Jane Goodall was one of them, and I'm on a Jane Goodall kick right now. Is that a thing? Being on a Jane Goodall kick. I read one of her books, and then I've watched some of her interviews and things like that online on YouTube and stuff over the past month since Christmas time or so. Like I said, I don't know if Jane Goodall cooks a thing, but I think it's a good thing. I've been really enjoying it, so when I saw that too, I was yeah, that kind of just ties into that. And the other one is Peter Singer, who's a hardcore philosopher with some pretty out there ideas, I guess. He's kind of I don't know. I'll leave it at that. You can go look him up. I'm sure you'll find little excerpts from some of his writings and stuff. I remember reading him in college, but I'll leave that one at that. But it looks like a good book. Not that I don't think it's really going to be convincing me to anything, because if it goes by the subtitle, it's already what I'm trying to beat other people over the head with. But Anyways, next book is Darwin Comes to Town by Menno. Oh gosh, Schilthuizen. Schilthuizen. I don't know that. Schilthuizen. Why am I just like I just said it like 3 different ways. So, but anyways, I saw this title on the Book Naturalist Book Club, or the Naturalist Book Club, by is it Heidi and Doris? I'll leave their links below. They always pick out really cool, like kind of. I think they pick out roughly 2 books each month over the course of the year, to kind of just like read and do a book club talking thing about. And they also have like Instagram and Instagram account for that and whatnot. And this was one that I didn't get to last year. I kind of like am like a lurker. Like just like read a lot of their books and stuff that they pick out. Like I think in January here they did Rachel Carr. I didn't do that one because I just read Silent Spring and what was it? The Sea Around Us last year. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do like a reread quite that fast, but anyways, this is sort of all about how like the urban environment is kind of creating, and I guess not creating evolution, that's not the good way to put it, how the urban setting kind of our, the Anthropocene, right? The human kind of pressures that we're putting on the planet, I should say. How it's sort of driving natural selection and evolution in a certain direction with certain species, just because they're having to adapt to different, factors and stressors that, previous generations of these animals really didn't have to deal with and stuff like that. So it does sound like a really cool concept. It's touched upon in a lot of my nature books and whatnot, but obviously this is going to be like, just like real, like kind of in your face, this is what we're doing, and this is how these animals are having to adapt to kind of deal with it. To kind of deal, a good book to kind of pair with this would be Thor Hansen's Hurricane Lizards and Plastic Squid, I'm thinking, which I just finished reading not too long ago. But yeah, it definitely sounds really interesting. I'm glad to be reading that hopefully in the near future. Here's one that I actually have read, and it's very rare that I buy a book where I've already read it, if that makes sense. And then, like, I think, it's digital. Anyways, it's Kindred, Neanderthal Life, Love, Death, and Art by Rebecca Rag Sykes. And this is my favorite, even though, like I said, I read the first one digitally. It's my favorite work of anthropology, and I used to hate anthropology, and over the past like 2 years or so, I've been doing a lot better, kind of enjoying it a lot more, reading more of it. This is like the gold standard work, I think, on Neanderthals currently in writing. Just the prose is really good. The scientific research is like immaculate. Like she's using studies and papers and stuff from like 2018-19. There might have even been some 2020. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if I'll know that. I can call that one off the top of my head. But a lot of them were like in the late teens and stuff. So I mean, it's like cutting edge stuff on Neanderthals. I learned a ton. I plan on doing a review of this. I'm going to do a reread of it. Take some notes maybe. If you want to know anything about Neanderthals, this is the absolute book to get. And like I said, it's actually beautifully written too. It's not just a dry academic monograph type book. Just really, really, really well done. Alright, now on to the 2 autograph books that I have that I received as gifts over Christmas. The first one here is The Importance of Being Interested, Adventures in Scientific Curiosity by Robin Ince. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's like a British or an English comedian or something like that. As you can see, there's the signature and whatnot. But this book seems to be all about, never heard of it before I opened it and stuff, but it seems to be all about, obviously the play on like Oscar Wilde there, why it's good to have, being interested in something like, for me as an example, obviously with my like field guides and nature stuff, I'm really interested in, taxonomy, being outdoors, identifying animals, just like looking at them, preserving them, conserving them, everything like that. Why it's good to have hobbies like that, that are like kind of scientifically based and things like that. So like I said, I don't know too much about it, but it seems like a really good topic and, something that's kind of like lacking in this day and age. Like science is kind of like almost getting like frowned upon in a way, which is just absolutely terrible. Science needs to be embraced a lot more than it has been. Just everything that's going on and stuff. So I think it'll be a really good book, hoping, the content is as good as the topic it covers. And lastly, my favorite book of the month that I received is Books Do Furnish a Life, Reading and Writing Science by Richard Dawkins. So this is like probably the most preeminent autograph book I have. Obviously, Richard Dawkins being like the super famous like evolutionary scientist and whatnot, as you see there. And what's cool about this book is what he's doing is sort of like talking and interviewing with other famous like scientists and thinkers. I think like Neil deGrasse Tyson is one, Steven Pinker's one, Lawrence Krauss is one, and then there was a couple I hadn't heard of, or maybe I just had like I've heard of it in passing and stuff. But it's all about sort of why they write, like why do they write popular science or academic science writings and stuff, and you know, why do they read and how they got into like reading and writing, and then all about kind of like their science and their thinking and everything like that. And it's written by Richard Dawkins, so it's like kind of this weird combination of really cool stuff all like thrown together in one book. So it's like, you know, a scientist on reading and writing with other scientists. I mean, does it really get much better than that? I don't really think so. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, like I said, let me leave I want you guys leaving me some comments down below if you like the last video's angle better or this one. And then, like I said, I'm going to try out maybe a couple more like down the shelves, because there's a whole bunch down this way that, you know, obviously aren't going to make it into the screen and whatnot. But let me know what your favorite book that you received either over the holidays or the month of December, what that one was. I'm always interested to see what other people are getting and are interested in reading. And always remember, whatever you're reading, read victoriously.